Right, Bills, Bows and Bloodshed. What is it? Where's it come from? What's it all about? I'm the author. Bills, Bows and Bloodshed has been a passion project of mine since the late 1980s. This is an original edition from July of 1988. In those days it was single figure removal, very much in the style of classic wargames research group WRG. Within a few months of doing this version, I then got into proper desktop publishing, and this version was published all the way through the 1990s, and I think this is one of the last ones from January 1996. I think I circulated about 70 to 80 copies, partly through the Lance and Longbow Society, partly through show purchases, and at the time I was quite happy with it. Now, ill health etc. took me out of the wargaming scene for a while, and when I got back into wargaming I discovered that these little chappies were now popular. The DBA, DBM type base on modules. I watched quite a few DBM, DBMM, DBR games, and I came away feeling quite dissatisfied. What I was seeing was groups of modules sort of dancing around the tabletop in response to die rolls. There was no unit, that is retinue or battalion organisation. It was just a mass of amorphous figures, and by the time you get up to DBR, in fact you had situations where the English Civil War battles being fought with all the pike up one end, all the musketeers up the other. There was no regimental organisation, nothing I could actually recognise as an English Civil War battle in DBR. So, what did I come up with? Bills, Bows and Bloodshed again. This time based on modules. In the rules you have about 12 modules to a unit. This is a typical unit here. 12 modules to a unit, roughly half bill, half bow. A feature of the rules is bolstering. If up to 2 elite footnote modules are added to a unit such as this, the whole unit becomes elite until a certain number of casualties are suffered, then it downgrades. I've gone for the similar style base that DBA use, which is the 40mm for this scale of figure. Obviously if you're using 28mm figures you scale up, and I think they use a 60mm base. BBB 2.2, which is what this is suitable for anything from 6mm up to 28. Personally I use 15s, but that's a personal choice. What else do you need? You will need several dice of the conventional D6 type. I recommend about a dozen, maybe a dozen and a half, because in addition to throwing the dice, we actually use them to keep count of the module numbers in melee. You will also need a pair at least of average dice. Now these, if you're not familiar with them, are numbered from 2 to 5. There's no 1, no 6s. It's got the same average score as a normal dice, but it's a shorter range of numbers. That's particularly useful with movement. It's basically how many inches the unit can move. With morale rules, more regular units roll a pair of average dice, more irregular units roll a pair of normal dice. Anybody who's played old style WRG may well recognise that mechanism. So you have regular or irregular dice, and finally you'll need at least one D10 or D20 to use for it as a decimal dice. There's a small function for that in the morale. So, what do you get with the rules? First half of this is the rules themselves, which cover the usual points. 4 distinct phases: movement, missiles, melee and morale. Each player is also supplied with 2 of these, 1 blue, 1 yellow, and once you familiarise yourself with the basic rule book, you can actually play the whole game just using these sheets and just refer back to the main rules when you need to. Particular feature of the rules, which I'm now going to find for you, is the researched livery badge colours. Put a lot of effort into this over the last 10 years. Livery colours of the actual retinues that took part in the Wars of the Roses. This covers 6 pages of the rules, 6 pages of the guide, if you like. 100 Years' War, all these are Wars of the Roses. Going over again, Wars of the Roses again, and then also some town liveries and, most importantly, bends and sashes. Finally, I don't like having photographs scattered through the main rules. I find the photographs distracting. I've tried playing Bolt Action, Hail Caesar, Black Powder, and the placing of photographs, often which have no relation to the text, advertising the product, I find very, very distracting. These 8 photographs at the back here all cover rule points or show you how units should be arranged. In particular here you can see the use of dice as aid memoirs for when you're actually assessing the melee rules. And finally, a little bit of an errata, we all make mistakes, and an extra section here of extra rules I managed to put in as afterthoughts. £10 at a wargame show. Dave Lanchester is kindly handling them for me. If you want to pick them up via eBay, they are £12.50. Each copy comes with 4 play sheets, 2 of the yellow, 2 of the blue, enough for 2 players, and in addition it all comes packaged in a plastic zip top bag so you can keep them fresh. So this is BBB 2.2. I'm encouraging player feedback. My email address is in here. If you've got ideas, if you don't like it, if you just want to discuss what I've done or find out my reasonings, and better still, if you can suggest something better, email me. So Bills, Bows and Bloodshed 2.2, currently available on eBay. Thank you. I will post further rule updates and explanations and clarifications in due course. Have a good day.